Hi there, this video is meant to help you troubleshoot when you run into issues loading a Sales Navigator link into the software. So there are a few things here that I'll point out that I see that are most common mistakes, and hopefully that'll help you. But if you need some extra advice past this video, make sure to reach out to your support. All right, so the most common thing I see here, it'll be pretty obvious, is if you're loading a Sales Navigator link into an account that does not have Sales Navigator on their LinkedIn, then you will not be able to load a Sales Nav link for them. So you'll get like a red bar across the screen that will tell you this person does not have Sales Navigator. So that one will be pretty obvious as to why you can't load it. The other ones here are a little bit trickier and not as obvious. Okay, so the first thing is you want to make sure you're putting your Sales Navigator URL into the right place. So when you hit Start New Search here, you're going to see a number of tabs here and options where you can put a Sales Nav link. Most commonly, you're going to want to click on the Sales Navigator search tab, and this is where you'll paste the URL. If you paste it as a standard search or a URL search, it will not work. All right, so make sure you're putting it in the right place there. The other thing is if you're searching for second or third degree in the software, you're going to want to make sure you've selected the connector search tab. By default, it will always start on this tab. If you're reaching out to people that you're already connected to, which is first degree in LinkedIn, that's where a messenger search would come in, and you'd have to click the messenger search tab, and then you have to click Sales Navigator and paste your link there. All right, so it's really important to separate those two groups. All right, the next is you want to make sure your link is an actual search link in Sales Navigator. So if I go to Sales Nav, there's lots of options here on different types of lead lists or account lists that I can go to. If I load those URLs, it will not work. So for example, if I go to accounts and I want to go to one of my account lists here, let's take a look. Let's say I click on this one. There is a URL at the top. It's going to be different because this is not an actual search. I'm not able to load that URL. So usually the URL will say something like saved search in it, or it'll be a really short URL. That's kind of your indication, oh, I actually need a search. I can't pull from a list. Okay, so to create a search from a list, you have to put your cursor where it says search. That'll give you all the good filters here. And I'd be able to pull from like an account list search or lead list search by pulling in one of these filters. Okay, of course, you can have all the other filters here, and make sure to, this is another key piece of information, that once you've got your filters set, that you put your cursor where it says search keywords and hit enter. For some reason, this can sometimes reset the URL, and we need the reset URL to load it in. All right, so make sure you hit the enter key, grab the URL, and make sure it's an actual search URL from a search page. That URL, usually, depending on how many filters you have, is going to be really long. That's okay, that's normal, but we want to make sure it's not overwhelmingly long. All right, so make sure whatever filters you have here, and you can have quite a few, but make sure that they're necessary. If you have a bunch of like unnecessary, like if I want to take out, 20 different industries, that might make the URL a little too long, and when you load it into the software, it's probably going to overwhelm the database and it might not load in correctly. Okay, so just make sure the filters you're using are necessary, and then again, make sure to hit the enter key where it says search keywords and grab the URL after that. Okay, those are the biggest problems I've seen with loading in a Sales Navigator URL, but I've also seen sometimes people complain that the number that they see here isn't the same number they saw when they set up the search in their Sales Navigator. So there might be a couple reasons here for that. One is maybe you didn't select second degree, third degree, or first degree within there. So if you've got everybody in there, it's going to include your first degree. And if you load in a connector search, which is just going to pull your second and third, it's not going to have those first degree people included. So that might show up as a smaller number than if you were searching everybody first, second, and third in your Sales Navigator. All right, another reason here might be if someone is already in a search or in a campaign, when you load a new search, they will not load again. So you want to make sure that you're not duplicating people here. The software is always going to make sure of that for you, but that might be why your number is a little bit different in the software than in Sales Navigator. All right. Other than that, everything should be pretty streamlined here for you. Again, if you're running into any trouble and I haven't touched on any issues here that have fixed it for you, please make sure to reach out to your support and we can give you some extra guidance. All right, thanks so much.